So, welcome back to it. Happy Halloween, everyone. And let's get back into talking about Stargrave and the amount of content and customization options, everything you have to it. Let's begin, shall we?
Okay, so before I get into the video, I want to actually bring this one up. If you actually are looking at getting both the book and the PDF, if you do it off of Osprey's site, they give you 25% off typically. And as far as it goes with customization, you actually have a whole lot of options, not just between how you make your characters, your first mate and your captain, but also soldiers. At this point in time, there's 7 books to it, because you have Bold Endeavor, Dead or Alive, Last Prospector, Hope Eternal, and Quarantine 37. And a lot of these books actually add in new powers, new backgrounds, new soldiers, sometimes ship upgrades, as well as new equipment. And there's also a side deck called Side Hustle. This is basically a deck of 40 bonus objectives for the players where before they do a scenario, each one draws a card and it says if it's a secret or if it's actually got where it's marked reveal, then you actually have where you're supposed to put up information so the opponent knows what it is as well. Now let's get into Stargrave, the core book itself. The core book itself, another one is a lot of these add scenarios. This comes with 10 missions in it already, but they're all PvP. There's no solo or co-op in the main rulebook. You start out a crew of 10 models, two of which you make from scratch. You actually make your captain and your first mate. The captain automatically gets leveled up to 15. The first mate gets leveled up to 7. And you select their background, their powers, and their gear. Backgrounds in this aren't just a title. It's not just like, well, they're an aristocrat. Or in this case, say for instance, this one, if you choose the Techer. Whatever background you choose modifies the stat line also. Plus, it actually gives you guidelines of what your core powers you can choose are. When it comes to choosing the core powers, you can choose 3 or 4 out of the list, and then the other 1 or 2, depending on how many you take from this list, you just take out of the rest of the book. And this book has where one of the reasons I brought up about the PDF bit is the book comes with 52 powers in it already that more or less have a printable card. And I make a recommendation a lot of times of if they want to buy the books, especially in PDF format, that way they can just print out pages, especially like the quick reference page here, as well as it's written. Instead of having to flip back and forth in the book, just print out the pages you need. So back to the character creation, you actually have where you choose your background, you choose your powers, and then lastly, they actually have where you select your gear. Now the captain, because they actually have a gear mechanic to it. The basic soldiers have 1 gear slot apiece. We'll get into them in a minute. But your captain and your first mate have 10 gear to them. Or 6 gear slots to them. So in this one, say for instance, I want to make a captain that's using a flamethrower. There's 2 there. I can then choose to give him heavy armor. That's a 1, so that gets him to 3 out of 6 there alone. Not including if I actually do anything else. Or if you want to have a first mate like that, you can go for it. And the rest of the crew, the other 8 slots, are divided where you can have 4 standard and 4 specialists. You can only have a max of 4 specialists unless there's something that says otherwise. I'm guilty of starting out running with a grenadier, a burner, then over here just settling for the medic, the hacker, and the chiseler. Because you need a hacker and a chiseler. Those actually will be handy when it comes to unlocking the loot boxes. It's not just it's an objective marker. No, you actually interact with the loot boxes in this game. be it data or physical, and you have to unlock them. But each one actually has a cost set to it. The cost is actually a one-shot wonder. Don't get attached to the soldiers. They don't level up because they're flunkies. They're meant to be expendable, unfortunately. A lot of people, I don't blame you. But when you actually add up all of the soldiers throughout the books, you have a total of 33 different types of soldiers to choose from. If you decide to actually delve further into it, the next book I'd recommend getting after the main book would be Dead or Alive, because the fact that this actually is an easier way to get more solo games in. But yeah, we'll talk about the other books in our video. This is Samaria Crew Creation. You all have a good one.